Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Arrow, a middle class podcast. And yeah, please like, share, and subscribe our channel. There will be a new episode every Sunday at 5 p.m. IST. And talking about today's guest, um, I have a small story to tell. And the story is that when I was, I think, in standard third or fourth, my father said that I think you should start reading more. I never understood why, because I liked Billu and Pinky and Chacha Chaudhary. And he gave me a small book. I think it was around 100, pages. And he said that read this book. And the book's name was The Coral Island. It was a story of three friends who were stranded in an island, just like Castaway. And it took me 4 years to read the full book and understand it because I was so young. But after the finishing and understanding and enjoying that book, I myself got interested in reading the books a lot. And from then onwards, I am reading at least 5 books a week or a month, I mean. And then suddenly I stumbled upon our guest today, and I watched his TED Talk first. Then read his book about 7 habits of reading. So welcome, Amrut. Welcome to the Arrow.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Varun, for having me on your platform, The Arrow.
And first of all, please introduce yourself to our viewers
Huh.
and tell our viewers about how you became the booklet guy. How was your childhood? How was your studies?
Okay. Uh, See, Booklet Guy is a crazy book lover with the only difference that he doesn't read only for himself. He reads for India. He reads for others. He reads for all his fellow friends of India, the brothers and sisters of India. Uh, Booklet Guy is a spirit that believes in the power of reading habit. I stand for the higher purpose of reading habit, not for booklet app. I'm not here to promote booklet app. I hate to advertise booklet app. I never do that because that's what books have taught me, especially Simon Sinek's Start With Why. You don't stand for your products and services. You stand for the higher purpose above them, which is reading habit. And booklet app is just a stupid excuse to keep books relevant in your daily routine. For those who want to read but have the guilt of not reading regularly, I'm trying to make it a little easy, access easier, reading easier. You don't want to read, you can listen. 20 minutes, book khatam. But I don't insist reading on my app. If one of our viewers, after watching our interview, gets inspired listening to me and reads 5 pages today, tonight, before going to bed, I declare mission accomplished. And so I'm on a mission called Make India Read to cultivate the habit of reading amongst the youth of India, like all of us. You know, so Booklet Guy is not a celebrity. Booklet Guy is not a brand. It's a spirit that believes in the power of reading habit. I truly believe that if I'm not reading, I'm not changing. And if I'm not changing, I am not growing. Dr. Abdul Kalam had spoken about his dream in his one of his books called India 2020. He wrote that I want to see India as a developed nation one day. And I believe Mission Make India Read is one step towards making his dream come true.
I see. So, when did you first started reading? I mean, I just have told you my story and the viewers my story that my father inspired me to read, and apparently the book was so good that I got interested in finding more books like that. So, how did you get into reading?
Yeah, I mean, barring the first word that we learn in English language, A for apple, that probably is the first thing, first day I read. But of course, uh, I think I was not an avid reader. In fact, I used to hate reading in my childhood. Thanks to my elder brother, he forced reading habit on me, literally. And because he's elder to me by 12 years, we did not share a typical fighter sibling relationship, but more of a father son relationship. And he used to warn all my friends and their parents just before my birthday arrived in the month of July, that nobody will get any toys as birthday gifts for Amrut. If at all you want to gift anything, you can give books, story books, whatever books you want. So in short, I never enjoyed my birthdays. So surrounded with books, no toys to play, I got introduced to Harry Potter, stories of Rabindranath Tagore, Akbar Birbal, Chacha Chaudhary, Alice in Wonderland, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Malgudi Days, R.K. Lakshman's all stories. And they literally stimulated my imagination and connected with my inner emotions. I was lost in the fantasy world. But I don't think that was a turning point. That was just casual reading for fun. The real turning point happened after my 10th exams. Again, my brother came to me and said that you should start reading non-fiction. Now you're growing up. You have cleared your schooling education. So I asked, what is non-fiction? As an innocent child, I believed books means only stories, fantasy. He said, no, no, no. There are thousands and lakhs of books out there which may not have stories, but you get to learn a lot from these books. Those are called as non-fiction books or self-help books. I said, that what did I do for last 10 years in my school? I was learning, right? And he said, no, 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 these things are not taught in schools. I said, what? Why? And he said, I don't know. And he gifted me a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, my first non-fiction self-help book. After reading that book, I went mad on my parents, my teachers, that in my last 10 years of education, you did not even uttered the term called financial freedom. And then later on, you suddenly say that you have to earn money, you should be the breadwinner of the family. Come on. I mean, what is passive income, active income? That money is an idea. It's not destiny or luck. It's not that by luck, rich people become richer. There is a set formula to become wealthy. I was like, wow, this is something I've missed big. My formal education, maybe 50%, not 100%. I have to learn. And then came The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, Chanakya Niti, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, Think and Grow Rich, Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. And I realized the more I know, the more I come to know that there is a lot that I don't know.
I want to talk to you about Alchemist just for my own information, but at the end. What you told me, I understood that probably the first non-fiction book you read was so good that it made you read more, or was it somewhere inside you that okay, I want to learn more and I will read anything? What was it?
Right. Yeah, you are right. So basically, I became more curious. I was curious, but more towards fantasy and imaginative world like Harry Potter. But this is something real, and I felt bad that I did not know it. That instigated curiosity in me that this is something real. Okay, these are not fictional works. And so since then, whenever I open the book, the only question in my mind is, what does this author know that I don't know? And I should know that.
I think what I understand from what you said, that probably inside you have a curiosity, the bug of curiosity, and you found that okay, the books are the best thing who can quench that curiosity in you, and then you make it a passion, not the passion which you explain in your book, but the passion which we normally use.
Yeah, I think you have read it so well. You know the
Yeah.
real meaning of the word passion. Very good.
Yeah. Let's directly get into your book, because as I was saying earlier that I got introduced to your work through your book, because I was like you. I am like you were. I don't enjoy reading nonfiction, and many people tell me, okay, read this, read that, it's awesome. And I said, I don't enjoy it. What to do? And one of my friend who is a reader, but he does not like fiction. He only reads nonfiction, and he suggested me to read your book. I mean, it's around 2 3 years
Oh,
ago. And then I said that, okay, I will see the TED talk. And when I found that you have released your book, I said, okay, I will find it. And then I found your book and I bought it and then I read it. So I read it, I think recently, 6 months ago, I think 3, 4 months ago, I don't remember. But your book inspired me a lot and the ending was funny. I don't want to spoil it for the readers, but I think the ending was a smart ending. Maybe I will ask questions to you about it. So tell me that there was one line in the book which inspired me or raised a question in my mind. And there was a line that if something is important, make it casual, right? Can you explain this to us?
Sure.
I mean, what my parents taught, teachers taught, bosses taught that don't take it casually, take it seriously. Right? It is important. So,
Yeah, that's quite paradoxical. It came from my own observations. See, we want to cultivate good habits. We all know reading is important, exercise is important, meditation is important, right? Family time, time to your kids. But I realized that most important things in life are never urgent. This is the biggest paradox of our life. And have you ever heard somebody saying, "Oh, मुझे urgent काम याद आया, मुझे gym जाना है." Never. It's always, "अरे urgent काम आया, मुझे Vodafone का bill भरना है." And we know that we are not born to pay the bills. That's never an important task, but because it becomes urgent, it starts looking like important. But paying the bills is never an important task of our life, right? It becomes urgent because we don't plan. And so I realized that even if things which are not important, still we keep doing them, even if they are not part of our to-do list. I started finding my own behavior, watching TV, watching those stupid videos on YouTube, yeah, chatting on WhatsApp, gossiping. And I realized that I do it repeatedly because I take them casually. There are hardly any rules. In fact, there are no rules. No, there is no rule. Somebody asked me, what is the right time to read books, Amrut, morning or evening? I counter questioned him, what is the right time to chat on WhatsApp, morning or evening? And that makes you laugh. Yeah,
exactly.
because we take it so casually, right? And also I observed that all these tiny activities that we do, sharing a post on Facebook, liking a post, putting a comment on YouTube, they are all tiny, stupid looking activities which do not require any willpower. But where do you get the willpower to share a joke on WhatsApp? No, you don't need any willpower because they are so tiny, stupid looking activities of not more than 1 minute, 30 seconds. So how about hacking, using this hack in important tasks? Yeah. Now, if I tell you, you have to read this 300 pages book, the first response that comes from our subconscious mind, अरे बाप रे 300 pages का book, रुक मैं थोड़ा कल से शुरू करता हूँ. Yeah. If I ask you to do 100 push-ups, 10 kilometers marathon, and 3,000 rope jumps, अरे बाप रे will be the first reaction. But if you break it down to a tiny, stupid looking activity of not more than 5 minutes, and I tell you that, Varun, you just have to read 3 pages. And you'll say, oh, 3 pages, no big deal. I just get started. Varun, you have to do only 2 push-ups. Oh, wow, 2 push-ups. To abhi kar lunga yaar. It will be the first reaction. So what we are doing is, we are making it so small that you don't need any willpower and you get started. And getting started is half the battle won.
Yes.
Because when you get started, the law of inertia comes in place and you enjoy the flow. It's not about the beauty of the number 3 pages or 2 push-ups. It's about something small. And then, surprisingly, I never stop on page number 3. I feel like going beyond page number 3. I feel like going beyond 2 push-ups because there is something in the law of inertia. You tend to be in the flow. Yeah. And I end up reading 10 pages. I end up doing 20 push-ups. So
Yes.
always get started with a casual approach. Okay. Don't have, our brain doesn't like huge, humongous tasks. Something is important to you, make it casual, make it tiny, make it small, stupid looking activity and get started.
I see. So actually, it's not teaching; it's a hack of our mind, so that we can at least start, as you said. And yes, you were right that, for example, if we start, I mean, I love food, and if I start eating this much of ice cream, I tend to finish the whole bucket of it.
Ah, you're
So
right.
that is exactly. I mean, you have to start.
Very well said.
Now I understand because I was reading it and you have explained in the whole two paragraphs after that, but I still wanted to understand it from you. Now I got it. It's actually hack. One more thing, you said that we have to start reading random, and by reading random, you means that okay, read some of this, read some of that, read some of this, fiction, non-fiction, articles, blogs, whatever. So, uh, how do you think one can raise interest in this reading random?
Okay. Okay. That's a very good question. This habit came from my own habit, wrong habit. So when I was in stock market, I was a fund manager in stock market, and I used to read books only on stock market investments, trading. Yeah, I've read more than 300 books on stock markets and trading. And I had a colleague in my office, Sushil Tanawde, and he always used to scold at me that, you know what, your thinking is so narrow. तुझे तुझे दुनियादारी मालूम नहीं है. You are living in a cocoon under a protective shield of your parents, because he used to observe that मुझे ज्यादा कुछ मालूम नहीं है beyond my domain knowledge. Yeah, and that's why he used to scold me a lot. And now when I look, and I never gave a serious thought to his scolding. But today, after so many years, when I look back, he was so right. I had narrowed down my focus so much that no, I thought that if we look out the window, we think we are looking at the entire sky, but it's only a tiny speck of the entire spectrum. Yeah. And so reading random, don't fall in love with a particular category of books. We so-called highly educated people, you know, like to categorize everything. No, I like only fiction. I read only Harry Potter. Many people say I read only business books, which will help me to improve my business. But that's a very flawed way of looking at reading habit. Why I'm insisting on reading random is our brain is very good at finding patterns in two things which are not related to each other. Look at the stars. How are they arranged in the sky? They are completely random. Still, we start finding some figures in those random stars and clusters, right?
Yeah.
So we are very good at finding patterns. It comes very naturally. Only if we expose ourselves to different disparate facets of life. And the best way is to read random. So I might write Harry Potter and Chanakya Niti at the same time. I am doing that. In the morning, I might read Harry Potter. In the evening, I'll read Chanakya Niti. Yeah. I'll give you a simple example of how innovation stems from randomness. Yeah.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, randomness is the opposite of logic. And that's why we don't like randomness. Whereas children love randomness. So कोई भी खिलौना दूसरे खिलौने के साथ mix करेंगे और कुछ नया game बनाएंगे. Yeah. But as we grow old, we have these walls of logic. So somebody came out with an idea of putting a camera in a mobile few years ago.
Mhm.
And you won't believe, Varun, he was sacked from his job for coming out with such a stupid idea. Can you believe this? We all know today the camera is an integral part of our mobile, and we take more selfies than calling. But I can empathize with the boss, why he sacked him. He must have thought there are two random things. There's a dedicated device to take pictures called camera. Why the hell should we put it in the mobile? Mobile is basically for calling and SMS. Yeah, but we know the reality today. So this is the power of randomness.
While you were giving example of stars and skies, I think the evolution is the result of randomness and what we are is. So I think if we read random, I think we can evolve the reading habits and probably get more information out of it. One thing more, as you were also saying that mobile became multitasking and he got sacked, and you used a statement from one author, and it said that multitasking is a myth, and the skill of focusing on one thing is the superpower of 21st century. So I work in a corporate world, and the best thing I have to write in my resume is that I'm multitasker. I can do several things at a time. I can do this, and this, and I can also do that. So I am flexible and so on and so forth. So how do you, is it only for reading, multitasking, or is it have normal thing which we have to evolve in ourselves or change in ourselves in 20%?
Yeah. See, you're right that an activity which requires cognitive attention, not a passive attention, but active attention, there practically, biologically, we can't multitask. Our brain is not made to multitask. But if the activity is mechanical, for example, driving, and while driving, I'm listening to FM music, I'm multitasking, right? But that's absolutely fine because I don't want to improve on my driving skills anymore. I just want to travel from one point to another while enjoying the journey. But if I'm working on an Excel sheet, a VLOOKUP formula, and I play a YouTube music at the background, that is very dangerous. You think that while playing the music in the background, I can focus on Excel sheet? No, that's impossible. We don't multitask. We switch task. When you're actually focusing on the Excel sheet on that cell, you're not listening to the music, and it's disturbing you. And when you are listening to the lyrics of the music, you are not focusing on the Excel sheet. And it happens so fast, within fraction of a second, we think that we are doing both the things at the same time, but we are actually switch tasking. Simple proof, I can tell you that we are not made for multitasking. Try to play two different songs at the same time, and immediately you go mad, and you would like to switch off one of the songs. We just can't listen to two different songs at the same time. Right?
Yeah.
So we pay a huge penalty when we switch from task number 1 to task number 2. And then coming back to task number 1 requires realignment and calibration to get started with task number 1, which is a huge penalty. So when you multitask, you are working as good as a 4th grade child. Your productivity falls down to that of a 4th grade child. Okay, but cooking and listening to music, or cooking and watching TV, absolutely fine. Yeah, because those activities have become mechanical. Or a machine operator is working on some packing activity, and a music is playing in the background, absolutely fine, because it has become mechanical. Yeah, but writing and music, no. Reading and music, no.
I see. So clear one thing for me: randomness is not multitasking, right? Because in randomness, you are doing one thing at a time for a short period of time, then moving on to another book. For example, as you said, reading Harry Potter in the morning and Chanakya in the evening. But it is not that.
No.
It is not a
Randomness
part
and
of
multitasking are completely two different things. I insist on randomness, where I see that you block 25 minutes of your time, throw away your mobile, okay? And for those 25 minutes, you just have to focus on one activity. It could be reading, it could be working on your PowerPoint presentation, whatever, okay? And when I'm take a micro break after 25 minutes and I feel like listening to music, I'll just listen to music. I'll not do anything else for maybe for 1 or 2 minutes. I'll listen to my favorite Badshah song and then switch off the music and come back and block for another 25 minutes, and come what may, फिर वो धूमकेतु गिरे या earthquake हो, कुछ भी हो, I'm not going to lose my focus for those 25 minutes.
Right. There were several pages in your book about social media too. That you do not use WhatsApp till you see that, okay, this time has gone, then I should reply. Sometimes your mobile is also, no, most of the times your mobile is also on silent mode, and still you said that your friends and family are still love you. So was that a conscious decision, or was that a necessity for you to read and not multitask?
100%. Most of the books on productivity talk about this, that increasing your focus does not only mean increasing your concentration. Increasing your focus is more about managing distractions. So to increase your productivity, your focus is about improving your art and skill of managing the distractions, those attractive distractions which has increased so much, which is not there 10 years ago. And major source of distraction is our cell phone or mobile phone. So there are simple activities you can do. You can disable your notifications of all the social media apps. You can keep it on silent mode, or you can put it on airplane mode, or you can keep it away, 2 rooms away from you, or give it to your friend and tell him that don't give it to me for next 25 minutes, come what may. There are simple things you can do. Yeah. We think that this is tiny stupid device is not going to harm us, but they are doing. These guys in Silicon Valley, these tech giants, owners of Instagrams, WhatsApps, and YouTubes, they are spending billions of dollars on a topic of research called human behavior manipulation. They're finding tricks, and it's called as persuasive technology. How they can persuade us to remove our attention from our high value task and put our attention on WhatsApp and YouTube. And they have come out with wonderful hacks, but at the same time we can also easily hack back them. Okay, there are some beautiful apps like self control. If I switch on that app on my laptop or my mobile, all my distractive apps like Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube will be dead for next 8 hours if I put the duration of 8 hours. Come what way, I can't go to YouTube for next 8 hours. Simple.
I think what you said was exactly shown in a documentary on Netflix called Social Dilemma. I think everyone should watch it, and it's eye-opening documentary because I was like, okay, it's YouTube, it's Twitter, yeah. But now I understand even better that what's actually happening. And as you were saying, I was just thinking that, okay, I have headphones. Even if I keep my mobile away, these headphones will ring. I have this watch. Even if my mobile is away, it will show all the notifications and everything. So I think I have to cut back on it somehow. And yeah, as you said, focus is important. Do you think this social media is the one of the prime reason for taking India away from reading, or is it also the lifestyle? Because most of the people in India are service people. I mean, they work for a company and then they are tired at home, the traffics and all. So, what is keeping India away from reading, or is it just that people are not aware of reading's benefits?
Yeah, I understand where you are coming from. No, there is no point in blaming social media. In fact, Mission Make India Read is successful only because of social media.
True.
I did not spend a single rupee on advertisement or promotion. I used all these social media tools. And today 20 lakh people are part of the mission. Social media is a tool. It's up to us how to use it, the intention with which we use it. It's like giving a knife in the hands of a chore, daku, and in the hands of a surgeon. See? Yes. Same tool, but hell lot of difference because of their intention. एक जान लेने के लिए यूज करता है, एक जान बचाने के लिए. Same is the case with social media. So we should make use of social media with a clear purpose and not something एक बार अचानक से मोदी का कुछ वीडियो डाला, फिर कुछ कुत्ता बिल्ली गिर रहा है उसका फनी वीडियो डाला, फिर कुछ स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियन का कुछ डाला ना, फिर कुछ पोल का डाला, वोटिंग का डाला. No, your Facebook profile is your social biodata. It's your social CV. Whenever somebody visits your page for the first time, you should be clear about your identity. What does Varun stand for? You look at any of my posts, any of my pictures, you'll never see my picture without a book. And that's why my identity is very clear in your mind that Amrut knows nothing other than books and reading habit. He eats books, he breathes books, he drinks books, he sleeps with books, right? Because I say no to all other 1,000 things. So I'm more proud about the decisions that I have not taken than the ones that I've taken. All right. I may be good at other skills, but I don't talk about it on my social media. It's only about books. So we should use social media for clarity of identity. We all are living in this identity crisis world. Yes, people don't know that what do I stand for. We are responsible for it. All right. So let's not blame social media. In fact, reading has increased because of social media. The only thing is, it's more of shallow reading and not deep reading. We are reading WhatsApp jokes on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
All the information about Corona has come to us through social media. Right? All the news or the precautions that we have to take, all the expert opinions of the doctors. Where did it come from? YouTube. WhatsApp messages, Facebook, Instagram. So it's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is no point in blaming social media. But yeah, when you are reading something online, the problem is online reading is made for distractive reading and not for deep focus reading, because the revenue model is based on it.
Hmm.
More we get distracted while reading an article or a blog, the more money they make.
Yeah.
इसलिए they pop-ups आते हैं ads के, then we feel like clicking on that ad, and it takes us to a new web page, and then there is a hyperlink, we click on it, then suddenly it asks to put your email ID so that you will get a free ebook, and you are tempted, you provide your email ID, and then bolte there are 10 tabs open on your Google Chrome, and you forget what the hell did I start from. It
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
10 tabs are open at the same time. This is
Hmm.
extra multitasking, super multitasking. So simple things we have to do is I copy the article, Control C, switch off the Wi-Fi, close the tab, paste it on my Word document, and read. We are away from distractions. Simple.
Yeah, I think it's a constant fight for the readers who does not follow the advice which you gave in the book and you just gave right now too. I think uh, the other point which comes in my mind right now is that nowadays reading habits are changing, or the mode of reading is changing. Earlier we used to all have the hard copies of the books, and now it is on Kindle, and now audiobooks on the Audible, and so on. So do you think that we have to cultivate even more habits for this online reading stuff, or the habits which you wrote in your book are same and can be applied for them?
I give equal importance to all the mediums. Okay, and thanks to the disruptive nature of internet, the gamut of reading has expanded now.
Mhm.
They all have their own advantages and disadvantages. I can't carry more than 4 books in my bag, hard copies, but I can have 2,000 uh, ebooks on in my pocket, which is a great thing, right?
Yes.
If I'm planning to go on a long vacation of 2 months, and I have only 2-3 books hard copies, it will be difficult for me. So I can easily have. Kindle has got thousands of books, just one tiny device. Or listening. Now many people have motion sickness. They complain that we can't read while we are traveling in Ola, Uber, or train. Okay, you listen. You listen to podcasts. You listen to my book summaries. Don't you think watching Steve Jobs interview on YouTube is as good as reading part of his biography?
Exactly. Yeah.
He's going to mention the same thing in his book. Only the medium is changing. How come medium becomes more important than the message? Right? So let's be very open. Internet is a beautiful thing that has happened to mankind. We have to make proper use of it, but taking care of the distractions.
Now, coming back to the actual book, uh, how much long did you think about these habits? I mean, these habits are a result of your long journey till now, when you wrote that book and then published that book. And have you debated these habits with people to point it out to only 7? Why not 10? Why not 5?
That's a very tough question. Of course, all the 7 habits did not stem on day one. It was a process, a long process of 2-3 years. But they're purely from my own experiences, my own anecdotes, my own difficulties. And interestingly and unsurprisingly, all those problems were all your problems. We all doze off after reading 5 pages if we find a book boring. We all have this problem of not remembering what we read. Yeah, we all have this over possessiveness of books. We don't give it to anybody, and from there, read and pass it on habit came. Yeah, why not read? Because the books are dead on the bookshelf. You're insulting the author. Once you have get the knowledge, just give it to your friend and then discuss. Yeah, when two friends come together who have read the common book, gossiping will be out of question. Suddenly, the quality of conversation will be at such a level that you are talking about big ideas that you learn from that book. Yeah. So all these habits came from my own experiences, and I have made sure that I will never Google while writing my book. Because if I Google, I'll be, my views, my opinions will be influenced by other people who has written something on the same topic. And if I can
Mhm.
Google, you can Google. Then how come my book will be different and original? Right. So yeah, the title I adapted from my favorite author's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, because as a trip I wanted to give a tribute to him. So I
Mhm.
gave this title of 7 Habits of Highly Effective Readers.
Uh, while you are answering me right now, I just want to get a glimpse of your brain. How your thought process goes. How do you think about things? Because your answers are like well thought out. So I know it's obviously because of the time you have thought about different things. But in general, what is your process of thinking about? Like, for example, you started reading a book. How do you contemplate it a lot, or do you, as you said, read one page and then think about and discuss about your friends, family,
Uh,
everything a lot?
you are asking a very smart question, Varun. I would I, I would have loved to give you an objective answer to this particular question. Unfortunately, I cannot. But I
Mhm.
have a solution. No, that's why I say always emphasize on reading habit. I never say read 1 or 2 books. It's reading habit is a continuous process.
Yep.
So somewhere, I've learned to think fast, think with clarity, because I've read one book after another for so many years, more than 1,400 books, and that gives you some invisible power of thinking clearly, thinking fast, when to think slow, when to slow down, when to speed up.
Mhm.
These things just pop up easily. Unfortunately, I cannot describe them in words. Maybe I am yet to read a book on this topic. Okay, so it's all about just reading many books without bothering about the result, and gradually, not suddenly, gradually, you learn to think faster, learn to think better than others, and you get some confidence even while talking, that no, you have an edge over the other person, you know something that the other
Mhm.
person doesn't know, and you put it without to be looked as an arrogant person, or to show that the other person is inferior than you. All things to just fall in place so nicely, only because you have thousands of books in your kitty of your mind.
Uh, I asked you that question because it happens with me a lot that, uh, as I said, I read a lot, mostly fiction, sometimes non-fiction. I mean, I'm not random enough here. But after some time, I tend to forget what I have read. I just know that, okay, that book was awesome. I know the title. I don't even remember sometimes the name of the author. I tell all the people, read that book. And when they ask, oh, what was in that book, I forget. Because uh, I, 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 uh, I read a lot and I tend to forget very fast. So, how do you remember the things which you read? Because in your book, you have told something about it, but in general, what is the real way to remember things? One is discussion with the friends, right? But people like me and the normal people like me, we do not have many friends that are interested in reading as of now. When you are very successful, people will read more. But uh, what should we do, or I do personally right now to remember things?
Mm-hmm. See, read and discuss is not one of the ways to remember, it is the only way, unfortunately.
Mm.
But I'll give you solutions for your problem. You said that, okay, you don't have people in your immediate vicinity to discuss about. I say every human interaction is an opportunity to revise one big idea that you read in a book. That will not only influence the other person, inspire the other person to read, okay, but also help you to revise. Okay, you don't have friends in the physical world, switch on the camera and go Facebook Live. Who is stopping
Mm.
you? You never know. No, people will start following you, ask questions. Okay, I did not get that point that you said. In that reply, you will be revising again about the
Mm.
concept. And the best way to judge whether you understood the concept from the book is if you are able to teach it to the other person. No, the best way to learn a concept is to teach that concept to somebody. That's
Yeah,
what exams are all about.
true.
Right? So, and if the other person understands what you said, that means you have understood the concept very well. With you, and always explain with the personal example. If you have watched my videos, I always back that concept with a personal anecdote, household example, so that you can understand it. Right? I give away the American examples. I replace burger with vada pav. So this is also a skill which you learn from reading so many books. Okay, and it's not that we don't talk. We talk 7,000 words per day, is an average, which is almost 30 pages of a novel, including you. You're not an exception. We all speak, but unfortunately, 80% of those 7,000 words is small talk, gossips. Yeah, वो क्या सचिन जीरो पे आउट हो गया पागल, वो क्या सलमान खान का फालतू पिक्चर आता है आजकल, you know, वो बॉस को गाली देना. Yeah, these are the unproductive communication. You should always have a very conscious productive communication. And what is a better way than sharing one big idea that you read recently from a book?
I see. Um, one more point from your book, which I wanted to ask from you, is about speed reading. I mean, I have seen one of your interview in some Marathi channel, and there the anchor or your I don't know who he was actually because I don't understand Marathi so well. But he said in Marathi that Swami Vivekanand was like that. He used to read, and then you gave an example that close this eye, peripheral view, and everything. So, do you think that this speed reading thing is a habit which we have to cultivate so that we do not lose anything, but we have to lose everything everything initially, and this speed reading is just to finish books or is it to learn faster?
See, speed reading is a natural consequence of reading a lot. Consciously, you have to try to read faster. There is no clear method, although there are hundreds of books who talk about technically how you can increase your reading speed. But I have come to a conclusion that if you read consciously, not for the words, but for the meaningful phrases which contain the ideas and the concepts, words are just the messengers. The message is hidden in those meaningful phrases. For example, I am talking to Varun. If I isolate the word I, actually there is no meaning. But I am talking is now a meaningful phrase. To Varun is again a meaningful phrase. And when these two meaningful phrases come together, there is a bigger scenario of a context. Are you getting my point?
Yeah. Now,
Somewhere you have to ignore the words and try to catch those ideas in those meaningful phrases. And they may not be uniform phrases of 3 words only. Sometimes it could be 4, it could be 2, sometimes it could be 1, sometimes it could be 5. That can't be taught, but it can be learned through conscious effort. Okay. Although I'm working on this hard enough to come out with a course which will explain you in detail that thinking faster will help you to read faster. It's not the other way around. That if you read faster, you can think faster. No, the actual exercise is to learn to think faster, and as a natural consequence, you will end up reading faster. And what is thinking? Conceptualization, visualization, imagination. So you have to imagine and visualize those meaningful phrases as fast as possible. And they pop so fast in my mind because of practice that I ignore the unwanted words like of, though, is. They are automatically ignored by me. And it happens like you are standing on the first floor looking at a huge crowd at a railway station, and you see a familiar face, one familiar face, and suddenly there are only 2 segments in the crowd, that face and the rest of the crowd. Aisa hota hai?
Yeah.
That's what happens with me when I read now. Suddenly those ideas just pop. The most important things pop up to my mind, and all other things are get ignored automatically.
You explained it pretty well. Now I understand it more than reading those words. I was not speed reading. First of all, I was focused because I'm quite interested in this speed reading thing because as I'm working and this podcast and everything, I don't get much time and I want to finish the books faster. Uh, but I also read fictional books more. Uh, is this speed reading also does it also apply for fictional books and poems? Some people read poems also and so on.
I
Or
won't recommend, because you read fiction for the sake of entertainment more. I don't say that we don't learn from fiction. I've learned a lot from Alchemist and Who Moved My Cheese. But fiction is honestly more towards entertainment, right? And so the whole idea is to sit back on an aram kursi with a cup of tea and read Sidney Sheldon or Brand Down or whatever, right? So speed reading is should be applicable to non-fiction, where you create a sense of urgency to get those big ideas as fast as possible and expose yourself to great authors of the world who have gained expertise in one particular facet of life, like productivity and procrastination and time management and leadership. You have to gain those big ideas from them, and not gain mastery on each and every book, but get the big picture. That's what my habit number 3 says. Get the big picture, ignore the details, right? And that's where I call it as accumulated knowledge. Not just knowledge, but you accumulate the knowledge when you read a lot of books one after another, without bothering about gaining mastery on each book, but to be jack of all, right? That's where you gain confidence when you talk with somebody, when you're taking a decision, whether it's a personal or a business decision. Somewhere you get that immense confidence that, nee, I know this situation is not new to me. It was faced by so many people in the books, and it's a tried and tested solution. So this is going to work. Yeah. So your failure rate goes down, your success rate gets improved. And all these things happen simultaneously, not consciously. So the whole object is to just focus on the process, not the result. Read for the sake of reading without bothering about the results. It's like a girl wants to learn a piano. Huh? And while practicing, Riyaz kar rahi hai wo, and she thinks, will I become the best piano player in India? Will people clap at my concert? Will A.R. Rahman take me in his team one day? Do you think she'll become a great piano player one day? Never. Because her obsession for results is interfering in her practice sessions, right? So same is the case with books and reading. Don't think, is this going to help me in my business? Will I be able to remember it? Am I understanding it the way the author wants me to understand? This is all anxiety. We are humans. We have the biggest brain size. If I don't know whether it is scientifically right. Our brain size is the biggest in the animal kingdom, if I'm not wrong. So we are not donkeys. Even if you have a stubbornness that I'm not going to understand anything from this book, still you'll end up understanding something. Yes or no? Just read for the sake of reading. No? Process पे focus करो, results अपने आप आएंगे.
Okay. Now I will ask a question. You may choose not to reply. It's about the seventh habit. A spoiler alert for the people who have not read the book. First of all, you should read. Was it a conscious decision to make the seventh habit that people read the whole book again and again and again to find the seventh habit?
Yeah, it was very clear in my mind that the seventh habit is the mother of all the habits. It is so important that I'm planning to write a second book only on habit number 7. I can write an entire book on habit number 7, and hence I kept it as a secret in my first book. So you know that second book is about to come. Yeah, I'll not disclose the name of the book, but the content is about the 7th habit. Yeah. So for that, you have to first make the first 6 habits as part of your character. It should be part of your each and every nerve and muscle. You have to live those habits in your daily routine, and that will take time. It will not happen overnight. Okay, great things take time to happen. There's nothing called revolution. There is only evolution. I've said in that book, you can't have a baby in 1 month by making 9 women pregnant.
Exactly.
The law of mathematics don't apply here. In mathematics, 9 multiplied by 1 and 1 multiplied by 9 is one and the same. But in this case, in 1 month, even 9 women can't have one full baby. so, so for that, you have to do some sacrifices, make those 6 habits as part of your character. And the 7th habit is revealed in booklet app, as you know, when you reach the IQ of 30 in booklet app, habit number 7 will be revealed to you.
I saw that and I said, okay, I'm stupid. It will take time. I think, as you said, it's evolution. And probably when I read your next book, that evolution will be a little bit easier for me because people like you are helping people like me. So, I mean, it's a great initiative you started. One last thing about reading itself, there are some people who write non-fiction books or self-help books, I can say. And some of them say that for a book to become your habit, you have to read it at least 20 to 15 times. Do you believe in this thing or is it different?
See, when I say I have to live that book, that does not mean I have to live each and every word of that book. To be very honest, you do not learn more than 1, 2, or 3 big ideas from a book, especially a self-help book. Okay. In fact, how can I make a summary so easily? Because I know the main heart of the book, the main content can be condensed in less than 10 pages. But if an author writes a book of only 10 pages, are you going to buy it for 300 rupees? No. An author has to fatten the book to impress a good publisher. A publisher will not agree for a skinny book of 40 pages and 50 pages. And so the authors expand it with lots of illustrations, examples, research papers, to show that yes, I have the authority on the topic. So our art as a reader is to find the heart of the book and just try to remember those 10 pages, which is nothing but those 3 big ideas. Is what exactly I do in booklet app. Okay. And so there is no point in reading a book for more than 1 or 2 times, or I would discourage you to reread the same book. I have given a better solution that if I discuss those big ideas which struck my mind so hard and discuss them with you restlessly within 24 hours, very important, or else they will fade out from my head after 24 hours. We know after attending a lecture, if I don't go home and do the same thing within 24 hours, it is as good as not attending the lecture. Right? As a teacher, I know this. I used to teach CA students. I always used to tell them, if you don't go and revise within 24 hours, it is as good as not attending my lecture. So, and when you discuss it, with a lot of enthusiasm and charisma with that friend, he will get curious about the book. He will ask the book from you. You lend it to him proudly, and then you again, ask him questions. What are the 3 big things you learned from the book? And those 3 big things are probably the ones you did not spot. For you, the 3 big things were different. And see how you revisited the book without rereading it. I'm not against rereading, but this is a very good solution. Why become so selfish and keep the knowledge only with ourselves?
That's true. One thing while you were answering me came to my mind is that your book is very small. I mean, as you were saying, 300 pages. I think it's very small, and you just stick to the habits which you have want us to apply in ourselves. And was it again a conscious decision, or do you think that I just want the people on focus this thing, like in your app, 20-minute summaries? Same here.
Yeah, I've understood the power of small. To make a big impact, you have to give something small. That's the power of small. No wonder why booklet app is such a hit. 20 minutes, it gives you a sense of instant gratification. Wow, I finished a book in 20 minutes. Yeah. And nowadays, all the more important for millennials who have got used to these 30-second reels and TikTok videos. They become so impatient. All the more important to give them small stuffs. And you know what? I think this is a real victory of an author. Most of the mails that I get from millennials, the college boys and girls, they have said that I have read your entire book in 2 days because it looks so simple and so small. Again, I removed the willpower, the need of willpower to open the book because it's such a tiny, skinny book. Yeah, that's the whole idea, that you at least get started, and then it is my responsibility that you will not leave the book and keep you hooked to turn the pages one after another.
It's
So
a
it was, of
booklet.
course, a conscious decision. Fortunately, I did not need a publisher to approach. I have 20 lakh readers with me. Why do I need to win a publisher? And so all the more reason to keep the book skinny.
As I said, the booklet guy, the booklet app, and the actual booklet of 7 habits. Then now I want to ask you something about podcast. As you said, people are now most interested in 30-minute reels. But for me, podcast is also a means of getting information. And I'm asking you why your views on podcast, because many people comment and oh, your videos are 2 hours long sometimes. Who has so much time? Who will watch this podcast? But I myself learn a lot from podcast. What are your views about podcast? And also, is it a form of reading?
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful medium. Wonderful. In fact, even booklet is kind of a podcast, right? There are book summaries in audio form. 80% of people on booklet listen to my book summaries and only 20% read them. In fact, amongst those 20%, 10% only read and remaining 10% read and listen both at the same time. So I asked those 80% people, why do you listen? They said that most of the time we use our commuting time for reading on booklet. But we observed when we are coming back from office, I mean, I'm talking about before the lockdown, when we did not work from home, we work from office. Work from office has become a very unique, a new thing for us. Work from home has become so common. And so when you are coming back from office in train, bus, Ola, Uber, you are physically drained and mentally also drained because of the hard work done in office. And although reading is not a physical activity, it is a purely mental activity, still we need some willpower to read, even your book summaries. But listening doesn't need any willpower. Just put the headphones, आराम से गर्दन को पीछे सीट पे रख दो and listen the way we listen to YouTube music. I said, fine, absolutely fine. Just because the sense is changing from eyes to ears, that doesn't mean the knowledge is not entering your heads, right? So, but I did not go beyond it. I will never make a video summary because videos shun our imagination power. We see what is being shown on the screen. I give full marks to reading and listening. They keep our imagination power alive. We imagine the way we want. When I'm listening to a Harry Potter audiobook or reading a Harry Potter book, it's my own Harry Potter. It's my own Jhadu on which he's flying. But when I saw the movie Harry Potter, I was so disappointed and I was shocked. This was not my Harry Potter of my imagination. He was dusky. This guy is very fair. And मेरा झाड़ू भी अलग था उनसे, right? And imagination, Einstein has said, knowledge is not power, imagination is power, right? Everything that we see today, this microphone, this book, this table, this logo, it was an imagination in somebody's head, and then it manifested in the real world. So imagination is the most important thing, and videos or screens just they destroy our imagination. We become a zombie. Just look at the person who is watching a TV. He looks like a zombie. No? And no, ऐसा दिखता रहता है. So it's very dangerous. We should keep away from screens. Full marks to reading and listening, but no watching.
Now let's get into the app, the booklet guide. First question is that why is there a key? And what is your thinking behind that?
This came from a very big idea that I learned from one of the books written by Ashwin Sanghi. 13 Steps to Bloody Good Luck. Very interesting book. I recommend you to read it. There is a very interesting story. A spoiled girl, a spoiled daughter of a rich millionaire, demanded a Ferrari on her ninth birthday.
I want to stop you because I want to first tell my viewers that what is the key. And so, if you want to get into the Booklet Guy application, there is a gate. I mean, a picture of a gate, and it says that enter the key. If you do not have a key, you will find a way to get that key. So that's what I am talking about here. And yeah, continue.
Agreed. Perfect. And so the spoiled daughter demanded a Ferrari on her ninth birthday. But her father was a very smart, wise guy, was a rich, wise guy. He said, okay, I'll give you. Your birthday is after 7 days. I'll gift you a Ferrari. And on the birthday, he gives the key to his daughter and said, go in the backyard. The car is there for you. She's so happy. She hugs her father, rushes to the backyard. What she sees, hundreds and thousands of spare parts lying on the ground. And they were spare parts of Ferrari. He had dismantled the entire car into thousands of pieces lying on the ground. And she goes furious, goes back to her dad. What nonsense is this? Is it a prank? And he says, no, it's Ferrari. You have to assemble it. It's all yours. You said you got the car. I gave you a car. And this girl, determined for next 1 month, hired 2-3 mechanics, sat on the ground for 1 month, assembled all the parts, checking the mechanics on Google, sab kiya. Finally, after 1 month, the car was assembled. And no wonder, because she put so much of effort into assembling the car, that became her permanent car. Today, she is 56. The girl is 56. She has not yet changed the car because it's so close to her heart. So, putting a price tag to something is not the only way to increase value of something. If you make that something scarcely available and I make you put some effort to get it, suddenly the value increases. Because Booklet app is free, but I did not want to lose value for you. So to increase the value, I closed the gates. Because I saw after the lockdown was declared by our honorable Prime Minister in last week of March 2020. Yeah.
Yeah.
Within 10 days, I mean, app was flooded. The activities shot up by 400%. Downloads and engagement and time spent. Also, of course, it was a good news. But after a few weeks, I observed people have just downloaded the app because it is free and did not bother to open it for weeks and months. I'm not for everybody, because for them, other attractive apps are there, na? Dating apps, all those Instagram videos and TikToks. I'm not for everybody. Booklet Guy, as I said, is not a celebrity, is not a brand. It is a spirit that believes in the power of reading habit. And to prove that you have that spirit, you have to find the key. Itna to aap kar sakte ho. If you're not interested in finding the key, you are dispassionate reader. And I don't want dispassionate readers. All right. So it's not about numbers. I'm not interested in likes and views and app downloads. I'm beyond it. For me, growth is not about getting bigger. It's about getting better. So this is just a simple, filtration to ensure that only the right people are inside the gate of the Mission Make India Read.
So now I'm asking you from a business point of view. As you said, it is free and it does not have any advertisements also. So how do you sustain this application? It's a business start. How do you sustain it?
It is apparent from your own discussion for last 1 hour. We have been talking about my book for almost an hour. That's the main source of revenue. Now, a few of my friends said, "Oh, come on, a book can't be a major source of revenue for you." I said, "Why? Why not? If I'm saying Mission Make India Read, and I can't make India read my own book, that will be the most ridiculous thing that could happen to me, right?
Yeah.
Why can't? I think book has to be a major source of revenue to cover the costs of Mission Make India. Right? It's not a business; it's mission. To cover the costs, it's easily possible. To maximize profits, not possible. I'm not interested in maximizing profits or maximizing my personal wealth. It's only to cover the costs. Server rent hai, cloud server rent, IT ka fees hai, app development and maintenance, and salary of two of us. That's all. That's all I have to cover. होने लगा है.
Uh, when I listened to your TED talk, you were talking about that you started various startups earlier, and that failed. But then you used in a sentence two words like perseverance and never give up attitude. So, have you cultivated it, or has the failures taught you to change yourself?
I didn't get your question. Could you put it in different words?
Okay, so when your startups failed, the earlier two startups failed, as you said in your TED talk, you still found a better version of your mission, and now you have this booklet guy, and you are so famous, as you said, 20 lakh people are following you.
100%, 100%. Success is accumulation of lots of failures. You see,
Yes.
the cancer survivors have become more more determined about their careers, about looking at life, about in their personal life, commercial life. The Holocaust survivors, the inhumanity that Hitler had done to them, those who survived from those humiliation, they all have done wonderful things in their life. So the more the adversity, better it is for you. It's like when a spring is suppressed a lot, it bounces back much harder when it is released. So these adversities are stepping stones. It is important. Yeah, this is what exactly I read in a book recently. The name of the book was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It says that pain is part of the process. Success is not just one massive stroke of genius one day. It is increase your failure rate and you'll become successful one day. Do you know Facebook? We all know that Facebook is number one tech giant in the world. Unsurprisingly, Facebook has the highest number of failed features. And they're not scared to try new things. Do you remember there was a dislike button on Facebook a few years ago?
Yeah.
It was a big flop because it created hatred. If I don't like your photo, I'll just not click thumbs up. Why do we need a thumbs down? And just to create that hatred and hostility between you and me. And then they realized and they removed that down button. Yeah, there are so many features they tried and put it in trash even before they reached us in India. All right. Whatever features you see in Booklet app are after I have trashed thousands of ideas I have tried in my immediate circle of friends. You know this. I keep trying. The best way to have a great idea is to have many ideas. And every idea looks as a stupid idea until it's a hit.
Yeah.
When I took the main idea of Booklet, 10 of my close friends said it's a stupid idea. Who the hell is going to listen to your audio summaries in the world of TikTok and Instagram? It's a stupid idea. The same guys who are now my CA friends who are working in BMW and some US governments, they want to invest in Booklet today. Okay. So everything boils down to your belief. हमारा belief strong होना चाहिए. I believe नहीं, ये time लगेगा. But I know what I'm doing is the right thing. Reading habit is important for India. And so in spite of these negative feedbacks, my belief system did not get shattered. जो usually मुझे दिखता है in the young startups. The moment they don't get results in 7-8 months, they hop for another opportunity. They lose faith in their belief system. Same for example, gym में जा रहे हैं. Okay, there is a coach, there is a diet system, but they don't get result in 5-6 months. They think this fitness regime is not good for them. They change the diet, they change the protein powder, they change the workouts. ऐसा होता है ना? But we know that a bad plan is better than no plan. It's not finding the best diet plan in the world. but getting some moderate diet and stick to it for months and years. And then, as I said, great things take time to happen.
You are absolutely right. I mean, as I am a very new podcaster, and sometimes I also have self-doubt. But also the other thing which comes in my mind is that many people have started many things, and let's see how far I can take it. I mean, at least let me know my limits, how far I can take it. Sometimes I do not get guests, or sometimes I do not get a topic in my mind. But when I get it, the happiness is even more. I think you have found that happiness in this booklet guy and the Make India Read mission. Talking about your mission, is it quantifiable when you think that your mission is achieved, or it will be a long-lasting mission?
Yeah, for me, success is a feeling, not a quantifiable outcome.
Mhm.
And more than happiness, most of the time we make this mistake of ignoring the importance of fulfillment, the sense of fulfillment. Happiness is not enough. If only happiness was the requirement, I would have read books only for myself. Na? That would have made me happy. But what about the sense of contribution, sense of fulfillment? वो नहीं आता. That's the difference between me and other readers, right? That's the reason why you and me are talking today in this podcast.
Mm.
Had I read only for myself, you wouldn't have approached me. So, getting that sense of fulfillment before going to bed tonight is success for me. Okay, every day I may not be successful. At times, ऐसा होता है that my 3 daily goals, which will help me to give that satisfaction, I am not able to achieve them. 3 में से 2 नहीं होता. Fine, I declare myself as a failed person that day. For me, success and failure is a daily affair. Daily affair. It's not about some external certificate to be given by the world. It's about my own waking up with a sense of purpose in the morning. That purpose may not be a world changing purpose. But today's one of the goal was to talk to Varun with a lot of enthusiasm and energy and inspire his listeners and viewers. That's all. That is one of my purposes. My one of the 3 big goals of the day. And I think I've done my job to my satisfaction, which will give me a sense of fulfillment tonight before going to bed. This is what we have to do. That's all.
You make me think a lot after your answers. I think today, after this podcast, I will think a lot and watch while editing and watching this video. One thing I recently saw, I mean, it's apart from your mission and the booklet app, is your crawling video. I mean, you crawled like a gorilla and you crawled and jumped like a frog and everything. And recently, since, after lockdown, everybody is into fitness and everything. What do you do about fitness? I mean, that is not easy. I tried in my home. I cannot do it more than 1 minute. And how long you are doing that thing? Because I know the benefits of crawling.
See, we trust our willpower a lot. रात को हम बोलते हैं कि सुबह 6 बजे उठूंगे और फिर पुल-अप्स मारूंगा, सूर्य नमस्कार मारूंगा, and then we know the reality what happens. And I'm not an exception. It's not that I'm a self-motivated guy who bounces from the bed at 5 o'clock in the morning. Even I feel like, being laid on the bed for till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. The thought comes to my mind every day when my alarm goes off at 5:30. Every day. But we have to understand that we can place motivational factors around us. Inspiration alag hai, motivation alag hai. What are motivation factors? For example, I put a message on WhatsApp to 4 of my friends, see you tomorrow at Joggers Park at 6:30. Now see what happens is, even though I know I am not sure about it, that whether I'll be able to fulfill this promise. But now that I have made accountable to 4 of them, उसमें से at least एक तो आएगा. क्यों आएगा? Because he has said yes to me. और अगर अमृत को मैंने यस बोला तो अभी बाद में वो मुझे जिंदगी भर के लिए सुनाएगा, तो मुझे जाना पड़ेगा. और मैं भी उसी रीजन के लिए जाऊंगा कि भाई मैं खुद बोला हूं, और अगर मैं नहीं गया तो मुझे पूरी जिंदगी सुनना पड़ेगा मेरे दोस्त से. Simple things, social accountability. Okay, and then इज्जत बचाने के लिए हम कुछ भी करते हैं. Right? The self accountability is nonsense. We cheat a lot. There's a wonderful story behind my book also. The 7 habits which we have been talking. No, I was procrastinating to write this book for 6 months. But the title was clear in my mind. Only the title was clear. All of a sudden, one day, I went to Facebook, Instagram, put a post that after 2.5 months, you will get my book called 7 Habits. If you want to pre-book, pay me on this Paytm. Money started pouring in. And now, everything, the world changed after that day. I was writing almost 500 words every day. And unfortunately, those 2.5 months was the most where I traveled a lot. I was invited across the world. I was in Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Muscat, even within India. 80% of the book I wrote on railway stations, at airports, on flights, in hotel rooms, and in trains. Why? To make it happen that now I'm accountable. When a date diya tha, on this date, the book will be launched. And because money has received, I have to deliver the book. The book was delivered 3 days prior to the target date. This is the power of social accountability. And it is so easy because of social media. Just put the post. So achieve करने के बाद सब लोग लिखते हैं मैंने ये किया, मैंने सर्टिफिकेट लिया, मैंने ये सीए पास किया, इंजीनियर हो गया. उसके पहले कोई नहीं बोलता है that after 3 months I'm going to lose 10 kg from today. कोई लिखता है? होने के बाद बिफोर आफ्टर का डालते हैं, होने से पहले कोई नहीं डालता है. Do you have the courage, Varun, to put a post today? If you think you're overweight by 5 kg, put a post on Facebook and Instagram that today is, what is today's date? 10th. That by, it could be any date, by say 30th September, I'm going to lose 11 kg. And give the date and the end result that your current weight minus 11 kg. And see the difference. The whole world will encourage you and make you accountable. Abhi kitna hua? Kya progress hua? Kitna kilo lose kiya? The world is there to help you. We have to expose our weakness, our vulnerability. Because even you don't know whether we are going to achieve it or not. I was feeling very vulnerable. Will I be able to complete the book within 2.5 months? But wo chahiye, that restlessness, that uncertainty, that discomfort, wo chahiye. Wo kab aayega? When you make yourself socially accountable.
I think when you put yourself under stress, your mind works even better and more.
Yeah.
I have also noticed that, and I don't know how you are talking to God or something, but actually I have done the same thing about my weight.
Oh wow, wonderful.
Since February. I mean, what you are looking right now, I am 15 kgs, 17 kgs less. I have to go 11 more exactly to be my height.
So proud of you.
So that's why I asked you a question about because I tried, because I like the way your physique was looking in that video, especially the shoulders and arms.
Right.
I said,
another reason why I focused on my physique and to bring myself in shape is to defy the old traditional image of a reader. A typical reader is imagined as with those fat glasses on eyes, bald, big tummy, gray hair. Why? A geek. A reader is a geek. Bookworm. I hate the word bookworm. It's a negative term. Why worm? I have started changing the image of a reader. If Netflix thrillers and Badshah's raps are cool, then reading in a local train with a book in your hand is also cool. Reader can also have 6 packs and big biceps. Why not? That's why if I want to influence the youth of India, first I should look young and muscular and prove that readers can also be muscular with a lot of agility and mobility and flexibility.
You are an inspiration in every matter. And I am lucky that I found you and watched your videos first, then your book, and then your application, the booklet guy. And do you have anything else to tell my viewers?
Oh, you have dig deep into me so much by asking such smart and intelligent questions. और इतना time कैसे गया पता भी नहीं चला. It's been 1.5 hours now. We've been talking.
I think yes.
Wow. I really enjoyed answering your questions, Varun. Seriously, it was a very well thought, deep questions, and you have given me some more ideas to write something in my new book. So while talking, I have discovered some new things in myself also. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and as I was saying earlier too, that I will be listening to this podcast again and again because there were some gems, two-liner gems, one-liner gems in between what you said, and probably the viewers also will get that inspiration. At least start reading a book whenever this video comes out. I don't know, maybe next Sunday or the next Sunday after that. So please read it, read a book and read the 7 habits and wait for the seventh habit coming out soon. I made you socially accountable.
Sure. Inshallah, it will happen. It's my dream to see India as India will be known as a nation of readers one day on the world map, and I'm going to make it come true, come what may. Inshallah, it's going to happen very soon.
So, any more points?
No, not really. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Amrut. Thank you for coming to the podcast. And thank you, viewers, for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was an interesting conversation.
Wonderful.
And watch another conversation every Sunday at 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Please like, share, and subscribe. I am working very hard. So, help me out here. Bye-bye. Yes.
Thank you. Happy reading. And please wash your hands. Bye-bye.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.